I remember the first time somebody called me a disciple of Jesus. Yeah, disciple. Had a nice ring to it. It felt strong. You realized you were a part of something much bigger than yourself. Sometimes it was really, really tough. See, I can't begin to describe just how disorienting things were back then. I mean, one minute Jesus is telling you about the gift of life, and the next minute it seems like he's just going to let us drown in the middle of the sea. Spoiler alert, we didn't drown. It sure seemed like we were going to. Looking back on it, I realized that Jesus didn't waste a moment. I mean, he was always showing us that he was who he said he was. Which, I know, begs the question, how can we doubt him? Yeah, I tend to be the one that gets asked that more than anybody because for some reason, doubter has been connected with my name. For the record, I wasn't the only one who doubted. It's just, I wasn't there the day that Jesus appeared to everyone else. I was gone. And so I didn't, look, the finality of death, it has a choking grip on all of us. And on that day that Jesus was crucified, when death swallowed him up, and then there was the day that they showed me his hands and the scars. And he said, Thomas, you believe because you see. But there's going to be people who believe and don't see. And that night changed everything. I mean, I was still a disciple, but now I was an apostle. Sent to share the good news, to tell a story. You know, there's another word. And started with a few of us, began to spread. I think it's the best word of all. It says everything that needs to be said because we realize it wasn't about how well we believed. It was about who we believed in. Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Yeah, from that moment on, we were called believers.
I worked hard for power, played the game well, did all the necessary bidding. I compromised here and there, but only with the promise of the greater good on the other side. I earned my power. Jesus didn't seem to agree with me. The day he appeared before me, I felt pity for him at first glance. He's quiet, unassuming, unsettling to be around. He challenged my power. Privately, I might add, more than anyone ever had. Certainly more than anyone whose life I held in my hands. He looked me right in the face and said, you would not have any authority over me had it not been given you from up above. The crowd had charged him with a laundry list of crimes, and I had demanded that he tell me whether the charges were true, and the soldiers jeered at him for fun. And there he stood, the whole world against him, and felt no need to answer any of us. And that's when I knew this is what they were afraid of. What they were willing to turn the whole city upside down for. I saw the blood pool at his feet. His eye swelled closed, and his lip split right there. Three days later, the tomb was empty, and my city filled up with an angry mob and believers. I don't call myself a believer, but I know this one thing to be true. There is not water enough in all the world to wash my hands clean of this.
He didn't want dinner. And then he went to bed early, which isn't like him. He's the night owl. Lazarus is the night owl. Something wasn't right.
Sent for the only one who could help, who could fix it. He'd help total strangers, of course. More importantly, he was our friend. I promised Lazarus. Jesus would come. He would heal him. I was sure of it.
You know, you can see it sometimes in a person's eyes, that look. And they're letting go of this world just a little bit at a time.
Those 4 days might as well have been 4 lifetimes. Everything I knew about Jesus fell apart. Not that he wasn't the Messiah, it wasn't that. It was more personal.
There was all this pain, all this doubt. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Our brother was dead, sealed in a tomb. And I said to him, if you had just been here, our brother wouldn't have died. But he said, didn't I tell you? If you would just believe, you would see God's glory.
I knew I was supposed to embrace those 4 days. That gap in my life, that gap in our lives, where God made no sense at all. It was as if God wasn't even listening. But without those 4 days, before I believed in him. Now I believe him.
We didn't understand then, but we do now. He doesn't just give life.
He is life.
Yes.
He is the Christ. He is the Son of God who comes into this world, and whoever believes in him will live.
People always ask me what it was like when I was dead. I think the better question is, how am I alive? The answer starts with this man named Jesus. The day I died, he told my father, "Don't worry, just believe." My father, a city leader, a well-respected man, he was crying, begging at the feet of Jesus. And Jesus says, "Just believe." Believe. Jesus started to come help. Then he got distracted by someone, and when he finally did arrive at our house, he told all the mourners I was just sleeping. Not dead, sleeping. They laughed at him. Everyone in the room laughed at him. Well, not everyone. My father, he believed that day. He believed Jesus. You see, before it all happened, I called him Father. But after that day, I called him Daddy. I found out what he was willing to do to have me back, what he was willing to give up to save me. My daddy threw off everything he was, a ruler, a proud man, an important member of society, to fall at the feet of the last hope for his little girl. My daddy, he would tell you that Jesus too threw off all he was, everything that belonged to him, and died like a criminal for our sakes. So that all of us could be brought back to life. That's how I am alive.